We are going to be giving a briefing on the latest information regarding this tragedy. We'll take questions at the end in Spanish. First, I want to thank the community for their understanding and their patience in the way they've responded to this terrible incident. We want to also recognize and thank the first responders for removing the bodies from the scene yesterday around 1500, around 3 o'clock. That was a priority for us. That was a priority for our mayor and our council. It was a priority because the families and the dignity associated with getting the bodies removed was an extreme priority for our entire staff. Lastly, I think it's an item that may not, I don't think it's as important as some of the other things, but it's still something that we're paying attention to. The parking lot and the evidence has to be gathered. Unfortunately, there will still be a few more days before we get information out on when people can go in and collect their vehicles. I want to introduce the Mayor Dee Margo, who's next. He'll be followed by Chief Greg Allen, and then Mario D'Agostino, and then we'll take questions at the end.
Thank you, Tommy. Since this morning, I've been notified that 2 more lives have been lost. I think it's been publicized. In my heart, my prayers, our prayers go out to the families. 8 of the individuals who have lost their lives come from our sister state of Chihuahua, Mexico. While borders may separate us, our grief transcends them. We are one region, and we will honor every victim like they were a member of our community. El Paso is a family, and we must continue to stand united as our region heals. I could not be more proud of our city, from the offers for free funeral services to the lines to donate blood to the overwhelming crowd at vigils throughout the city. El Paso has shown that we are much stronger than Saturday's attack. I have issued a local disaster declaration yesterday, activating all available state recovery efforts. Various state and federal officials have contacted offering resources for our community. This was an act of domestic terrorism fueled by hate, an evil individual. I will not assist in promoting or emboldening his agenda, nor any movement that he would be associated with. Our diversity is what makes us special. We are 3 states, 2 countries, and 1 region. And as I've been saying, there is no other city or region like El Paso Juarez. Now let me cover one other item that you will ask about. President Trump called me yesterday. He was very gracious in the call. You all know of my history with the president as I've defended El Paso. He was very gracious, offered to help in any way he could, and it was a brief call and nothing overly specific. I made no request at that time. I said, we're waiting to see what settles. He's coming out here on Wednesday, and I want to clarify for the political spin that this is the office of the Mayor of El Paso in an official capacity welcoming the office of the President of the United States, which I consider is my formal duty. I will ask President Trump to support our efforts with any and all federal resources that are available. Our recovery is no small task. Together we will rise out of this tragedy, and I'm here to ensure that we receive every state and federal resource that is available to us that we need. I will continue to challenge any harmful and inaccurate statements made about El Paso. We will not allow anyone to portray El Paso in a manner that is not consistent with our history and values. Throughout our community, Bienvenidos is displayed for all our guests and visitors. It is a message that has defined our community for over 350 years. I will not allow this evil, senseless act of violence to change what our community represents. I'd like to call on Chief Allen.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Greg Allen, El Paso Police Chief. Last name spelling A-L-L-E-N. Just had an update from our investigators at the scene. We have list of the deceased, and we'll be providing you with that later. We have now 22 people confirmed killed. Total number of Mexican citizens at 8. We have 15 patients still in the hospital, 2 of which are critical. 9 have been discharged. The number of total injured was raised by a number of 27 because one self-admitted to the hospital and left on his own. 2 of the 27 injured, one was an infant with broken bones, and another sustained injuries trying to escape the scene. The breakdown of fatalities as far as the deceased, we have 1 German, 13 U.S. citizens, 1 undetermined, and 7 Mexican nationals. With that, I'll ask you all to provide any questions that you have. Oh, I'm sorry. Mario.
Thank you, Greg. My name is Mario D'Agostino. It's D'_Agostino. I'm the fire chief here in El Paso, Texas. I wanted to give a brief of how we've been handling the family reunification, the notifications. So we set up early Saturday a family reunification center. That's been operational since then, around the clock. We'll be transitioning the next day to a family assistance center. That center will be open for the next 10 to 12 days before we do our final transition. That final transition will take us into a long-term recovery. It'll be the El Paso Strong Resiliency Center, and it will be open as long as we need it to be open for our community. We encourage any of the public, any of those involved, anyone who needs any help, to call to get that help they need first. Don't let the mental health issues build up on you. Don't let the thoughts, everything that's concerning you, don't let it get to you. Reach out. We have a number, 779-1800. That'll get you the help you need locally, and there's no charge to that service. Thank you.
Well, I tried to preempt your question with my remarks. I represent the office of the mayor of El Paso, Texas. This is not a political visit as he had before, which I did not visit with him, but I was noted from the podium, as I recall. And he is the President of the United States. So in that capacity, I will fulfill my obligations as mayor of El Paso to meet with the President and discuss whatever our needs are in this community, and hope that if we are expressing specifics, that we can get him to come through for us. I'm already getting the emails and the phone calls, and that's why I'm saying what I'm saying now. I would appreciate if people would save their time and not necessarily have to send them. Yes, I understand. But we're not dealing with that right now. We're dealing with a tragedy of 22 people who have perished by an evil, hateful act of a white supremacist that has no bearing or belong in El Paso. It was not done by an El Pasoan. No El Pasoan would ever do this. And I don't know how we deal with evil. I don't have a textbook for dealing with evil other than the Bible. I'm sorry. We're going to go through this. But the President is coming out, and I will meet with the President. And I guess for people who have lots of time on their hands, I'll deal with their emails and their phone calls.
I can't go into those details right now. That would be too revealing of the investigation that's still ongoing. Right now, we haven't even fully cleared the crime scene there. We're still gathering evidence at that particular location. I'm sorry? It was bought in near his hometown in Allen, Texas. I don't have the exact details of that right now. The weapon was purchased legally. It's a 7.62 caliber weapon. That could be two varieties of weapons, 7.62 by 51, which is a NATO round. 7.62 by 39 would be Russian Kalashnikov caliber. The what? Well, you'll have to contact our PI. Well, our PIOs will provide that information, but they'll have to clear it with the investigative unit right now to see if that's permissible. Right now, he has no bond. He's under a charge of capital murder in general. That determination is cleared by the district attorney's office. They work with the investigators to come up with the appropriate charge. If that's the case, then it was approved by the district attorney. From the police department perspective, we're doing okay. We have employee assistance programs available. EHN is also assisting with that, and I'll let the fire department comment on that side.
Yes, thank you. The fire department, we did set up debriefing teams instantly, immediately following the scene. We do have EAP assisting them as well. We do have our international firefighters. They're coming on scene next week. They'll be doing debriefing, going station to station, talking to them, seeing if there's any effects. We've had all the positive communications with them, and we are monitoring them.
I can give you a general. He took about 10 to 11 hours traveling from Allen, Texas to El Paso. As soon as he got here, he was lost in the neighborhood. After that, he found his way to the Walmart because we understand he was hungry, and that's about as far as I can go without getting into too much detail. Was he cooperating? Yes, he cooperated from the beginning. None of this had to be any way coerced from him or threats or anything like that. He volunteered most of the evidence that we were able to utilize at this time. No, I can't make comment on that directly. Again, that's part of the investigation.
Last question, please.
That's a good question because I see it's 8 on one of my fact list here, but I've got 7 on the list we'll be providing to you. So right now it looks like 7 confirmed from the list with the deceased actually on it. I'm sorry? No, not to the investigators. I asked that question again this morning. Right now, he basically appears to be in a state of shock and confusion. I'm sorry? We don't know that right now.
Thank you all.
I'm sorry, would you mind repeating? No, we haven't ascertained that right now. That's what we suspect he did right now.
Thank you all.
Thank you.